I don't know.
We're live now. It says live.
There we go.
In living color.
Nice. Excellent. Well, hey, everybody. I don't know who's... Let me see if I can check to see who's on.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Okay, well, we got Jeffrey Comic-Con's on. Nice. Great Legend show's on. How we doing? Good. Well, this is kind of an impromptu thing. What we're doing is Regie, Bueller, and I are going to just go over some 2019 goals, and he has a sun up. My daughter is trying to get to bed. Let's hope. She was down here about 2 minutes ago.
Say hi.
Hi.
Nice.
How are you? Very cool.
It's fun to see you, Reggie, with your little one. And me and you were just talking a little bit ago about my daughter who is in her 20s.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's just
give me a kiss.
Good times.
Give me a kiss. I'll see you in the morning.
I gotta ask JD, is your wife gonna be making an appearance? Because I just want to tell her thank you in person.
She is right now reading Christmas stories to my daughter who refuses to go to bed. But she's reading Christmas stories. But she definitely liked the book. She's actually got a short box over here of books she wants or she has that she's taken out of the bin. So it's kind of good. So, but now she decided cosplay for that next year, which is one of the goals I was going to talk about.
Nice.
She wants to do Zatanna.
Oh,
yeah. I'm like, all right. That means she's like, well, you could be Doctor Strange. Like, okay.
So let me ask you: are you looking forward to that, JD, or are you a little like?
I'm. We're big into the cosplay, but
that's my lady.
Yeah, but she's been green for 2 years in a row, and the only thing she wants is not to be green. She was Gamora this whole year, and she was She-Hulk last year. So she's like, I'm done being green.
No more body paint.
No more body paint. So anyway, I was going over some goals for 2019. I was talking to Bueller, and he's got some goals for his channel. And Reggie, if you didn't see, Reggie's show the other night, he pretty much made a great, I don't know if it's a sponsorship or a partnership with BCW, which is amazing. I think that's shows you the power of a community in a year. I mean, it's an amazing thing. And BCW, I mean, I use them a lot. I tell you right now, these things are a lifesaver to transport books in.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, I love those. So
yeah, it actually is a sponsorship of the channel, man. As I mentioned when I announced it, like I've been a big fan of BCW's products for years and years, and so I reached out to these guys, man. Kind of introduced myself. I took note that they were taking a look at some of my content. They replied back, and we had a back and forth, and it worked out quite nicely. So, super pumped about the relationship. And we'll see how it goes, but it's a step in the right direction, I think.
Absolutely fantastic. Nice.
Brother.
Now Bueller's got some stuff he's working on, I know, on his channel coming up.
Well, I know that Reggie's talking about BCW, and they're great, and it's a good sponsorship. And I'll be honest, I've talked with them on the phone as well. But it's one thing I looked at. It's like, you know what? As far as like sponsors go, I wanted to think of some type of sponsor that's universal, that doesn't pigeonhole me into like a certain area type thing. Mm-hmm. And the best thing to do is like a comic book supplies, because they're universal. Everybody uses supplies. If I were to be sponsored by, say, Oni Press, and I'm, I would probably limit my channel to what they'd want me to show or whatnot. So I look at like something like the sponsorship that Reggie got for the BCW. Perfect fit for our community. It's universal. It goes over everything.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to speaking with Ted. I don't know if it's Ted who you talk to, Reggie, again pretty soon.
Yep.
But yeah, I got a lot of goals. I mean, how do you want to do this, JD? This is your thing. You're going to run it.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
If you want to do
channel goals, comic book collecting goals, where do you want to start?
Yeah,
let me know.
We want to do channel goals first, and then we'll get into the fun stuff.
Channel goals are not fun.
Well, yeah, they are, but they get to be a lot of work. Editing takes forever.
Yeah.
I want to make more. My personal thing for my channel is I really enjoy doing the research for the Buscema one and doing my various covers, but I really like the unboxings. And there's nothing to be said about when you watch somebody live do an unboxing of a CGC or something and you don't know what's in the box. Like doing the Bueller box last night or two nights ago was absolutely hysterical. I loved it because you don't know what you're getting and you're looking at it and you're like, you think that he knows exactly what you want, but Bueller doesn't even know who we're buying them on eBay, you know?
They're random.
They're totally random. I'm like,
I just put a label on a box and it goes.
Yeah, I was literally looking for this book and I couldn't find it. And Comic Tom doing his mystery mail call was the same way. Unboxings are great. The CGC, when you pull out the grades, when I pulled out that 8 on that Journey into Mystery, I was shocked by that. You know, if you ever go back and I look back at one of my old videos the other day when I pulled out the 8 on the Fantastic Four 48, I actually looked so shocked and stunned that it's totally different. And now I like keep your cool, especially when you get like that. You know, Regie has his experience with his one book, and I have my New Avengers #8 at a 7.5, and I'm like, that book's brand new. You know, I'm like, and you try not to show your disappointment, like pick up the book and toss it across the room, but it's always fun, you know. But that was, I guess, my goals for my channel are just do more of that stuff and actually do more interactions with people in the community, because I have a lot of fun doing this and the hunt and to slab or not to slab. It was a great idea. It became a totally different show than I thought. It's a lot of fun.
So JD, let me ask you a couple questions. So
Sure.
when did you start your first? When was your first video?
I think it was during the early part of the summer. I think I did my first unboxing. I mean, there was a video out there for about 4 years from a golf golden tee game that was out there. And
Love
then
golden tee.
Yeah, and then that's from like 2009 or 2008, and then literally my first video was probably either April or May. So, and I really only did an unboxing and I only watched videos, and I discovered Regie and you pretty much the same week. And I'm like, I'm going to subscribe to these guys. And then everybody was doing live, and you know, you guys have combined 4,000, 5,000 subscribers. But I remember when you weren't, and I'm like,
I remember that too.
And it was so much, and I was like, wow, these guys know it. And subscribers are not, you know, I love having subscribers. I think it's great, but the way you guys have done it have been, you have a brand, you know, and you don't mess with the brand. And I think that's great. While you've evolved, you haven't messed with your original brand. Reggie's your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book guy. Bueller has coffee, and he gives you the breakdown of what to look for the week before, the upcoming week. And honestly, you were the inventor of the 50-cent box, you know, the 50-cent haul. I love it. You know,
those are very, very popular videos.
Yeah, very good.
So have you set a goal for your channel for next year? I mean, I honestly think it's important to have goals. Okay.
Yes.
Set goals for your channel. What do you expect?
My goal next year is to break 500 subscribers and also provide content that people respond to and like and find informative, that I can share my knowledge, because I do have a lot of, you know, if this would be, if what I have here in comic books was everything else in the world, I'd be, you know, a physicist or something else like that. But I'm not. But I can still tell you the first appearance of Korvac and everything else when Regie did that one. I'm like, I know that's King Size Defenders 3. You know, I love that. You know, when you walk around a comic shop, that's my goal, is to provide informative there. And the main goal is 500 subscribers and continue on with the shows and maybe add my own show. I don't really have one that I put my name on. I mean, I kind of started like a 2 for Tuesday thing, but that's up to anybody. You know, that would get boring if I have to do it. But I definitely like to collaborate more with people.
Very cool. Very cool.
And you?
How about you, Regie? Regie, you got any questions for JD about his channel?
I didn't realize that this was an interview style.
Come on, Regie, you can pull something out. we talked about this.
No, I mean, I think that those are all worthy goals, right? And I mean, you know, I think it's definitely important to have a set of goals written down. I've always been a big fan of that, whether it was like fitness related, whether it was, you know, professionally, or whether it was this comic book stuff. So I think that it's important to have those goals because it gives you something to aim for. And I think he was pretty clear about the things that he's looking for. And I think that those are worthy goals to have, because establishing an identity for oneself and holding true to that identity as you continue to grow, it takes work, right?
Yeah.
It's simple, but it definitely takes work. And I think each one of us probably has learned a tremendous amount over like this last year or so. Because Bueller, you started not that long ago. I know when JD started, and I started almost a year ago, right? This month, you know. Go ahead.
I gotta tell you something. I looked this up, and this is such a cool thing. Okay, so Reggie's has obviously videos on his channel from when he was just working out and pumping iron and doing all that stuff and just looking amazing. Not that he does it right now, but man, you go back and look at those ones, man. The guy's just killing it. Okay, so he's had those videos up for a while, but his first comic book video, Reggie released on February 12th.
Check that out.
That was his first comic book video. I released my first comic book video on February 10th, and Tom released his on February 8th. Within 1 week, the three of us hit at the same time.
Shut up.
That's
it's
amazing.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
The West Coast, right?
It is the West Coast.
Washington, Oregon, California, boom. 1 week, all three of us hit.
So hold on. First of all, what are the subscriber counts for those three people? I just need to know that now, because I know you wrote it down. It was the 8th. It was the 8th, the 12th, and the 15th. Is that what it was? Yeah. So Tom had 2 days head start on me and 4 days head start on you. So that's probably why he has more subscribers. That's the way I look at it. That's all we need to say. My man. That's why I like you. That's awesome. No, it's cool that you went back and looked at that. I didn't realize that it was February. I thought it was, you know what? I think I started collecting again in like the November, December time frame. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. So, very cool. Bueller, what are your goals? What are your goals for the channel, that is? For the channel,
for 2019. Obviously, I want it to still grow. I'm going to focus on, with my channel is right now, there's a lot of stuff on there. I kind of set a plan, okay? Like all my videos come out at the same time every week. Yep. It's the same video. All the videos look a little bit different. They have their own identity. There's a different background to all 5 videos that I do.
Yep.
That's on purpose. I do that so they have their own identity. As far as the channel growth, I have a number in mind that I want to hit. Okay. And my original number for this year, when I started taking it seriously, was I want to see, okay, I started in February. Let's see if I can hit 1,000 by the end of the year.
Yep.
And we did that pretty quick. So I was pretty happy about that. And then I was like, okay, I got to up it. So let's do 2,000. And we hit that pretty quick as well. And I was like, okay, we got to up it to 3,000. And then we hit that really quick as well. So, and now I'm almost at 4,000. So my year-end goal for this year within the next 2 weeks is hopefully to get possibly 4,000 subscribers. So if I do that, great. If not, it doesn't. It's still great because honestly, it's way up and above from my expectations by far.
Yep.
But realistically, and I look at my analytics and I go, okay, what is the pattern that's kind of presented itself over the last 5 months? Mm-hmm. I look at that pattern, and if you do the math, a year from now, from today, I should be sitting by those at around 10,000 subscribers.
Yep.
And I think that's a realistic number. I think that people tend to underestimate our community. I think that there's more people out there than people are thinking about. And I don't think 10,000, although people say, oh, that's a big number, I don't think it's a big number. I think that there's a lot more people out there that are really enjoying this hobby. And there's no reason why we can't reach them or they can't find us. So that's kind of what I look at. I'm looking forward to making more videos with creators. That's something I want to focus with.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to doing more cons, maybe doing some cosplay stuff. I thought about that, It'd be kind of cool. People like those cosplay videos, you know, and stuff. And honestly, I just want to ask the ladies, hey, do you mind if I take your picture? So I mean, you know, Bueller gets a little lonely sometimes, but anyway. But you know what? It's also another thing I want to focus on is community in general and helping other YouTubers, because I'm proud of our community and I want to show it off. And one thing I've talked to JD about, I'm going to start doing a second live stream that's a community spotlight video to where people can join and I spotlight other members of the community. The thing is, it's not just going to be people who do YouTube. It's going to be people who do YouTube and people who do Instagram or people who are just fans. If they can work Google Hangouts, then I'm going to invite them on the show.
Very cool.
So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm really, and I got some other thing with the Bueller box that's really special, I think. And I'll share that later. So
nice.
Those are my goals. So I'm excited. 2018, honestly, I've said this before, probably one of the best years of my life and probably the last 15 years.
Very good.
I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Hey,
That's
Bueller,
great.
a couple of people in the chat have asked whether you're aiming for a vest sponsor in 2019.
Is there such a thing as a vest sponsor? It's like, how do I find, man, can I get a vest? They're like, what? You know? I mean, the only guy I could think of could pull that off is like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something like that. You know, he wore the vest.
Go.
And, you know, I'm good coffee. So Starbucks, if you're watching, that's who I want. That'd be really nice. And, you know,
Bueller 316 says, get me a coffee. Nice.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
No,
Reggie, what are your goals for your channel?
Yeah, Bueller, I think you're definitely on to something with some of the things that you touched on. You know, I am still in the process of formulating what my focus is going to be and what my goals are for 2019. I've been like on a roller coaster ride with this new job that I have, and so that's kind of taken me off of like the planning just a little bit. My whiteboard off to the left of me is a little big because I've been focused on some other things. But as I sit here and I think about it, I think there are a couple of things that I think I've started to do in 2018 that I want to continue in 2019. There's a lot of things that I want to do better and differently, and I'll try to articulate those things as best I can. But one of the most important things for me is to have fun, right? This all started when I was filming in my kitchen at my old house was just because I wanted to have fun. And I wanted to take, and I've talked about this a lot, what could be super lonely, you know, sitting here flipping through your books, enjoying the smell and aroma of paper, right? And I wanted to reach out and like talk to some other guys, you know what I'm saying, about this hobby and this thing that we do. I mean, when I first started, there were things that I said out loud on video that I had never uttered out loud before I went on air and said those things.
Wow.
And that's because all my life I've been surrounded by people that didn't really understand comics, and there was a stigma attached to it. And so when I started, it was really just me saying, you know what, I'm not going to be ashamed of this thing that I enjoy. You know?
Very cool.
And it still remains that way today. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself a person that is passionate about comics and wants to share that passion with other people. I don't hold myself up as some expert. You know what I'm saying? So
excellent.
For me, fun, positive dialogue is like number one.
Excellent.
I think that, you know, like Bueller, you can't help it but look at those analytics. And so
I still don't know where that button is.
Brother,
it's probably a good thing.
Don't find it, because I sit here and I will look at analytics all day. Actually, I'm looking at Comics Explains analytics at the moment. This dude has 1.5 million subscribers. And so I think to your point, Bueller, people underestimate what the community is capable of, you know?
That's right.
I mean, he's a little bit different from us, but he is still, in my opinion, of the community.
He is.
I don't see him interact with us as much, but he's still part of the community, and he's sitting at 1.5 million people. So when Bueller says 10,000, I'm like, totally doable. Totally doable. So when I think about just from a subscriber standpoint, I think my goal would be if I can do 4,000 to 5,000. Right now I'm at 1,600. And 4,000 to 5,000 for me, I think would be a great number. I think there's something special that happens when you reach like 1,000 subs, especially for Bueller. It was crazy how fast you climbed, but it's impressive where I can look at my analytics and it'll grow by 30 people a day. It's impressive, you know. To Bueller's point, I think that I have found in the last 2 months maybe some consistency with my content, in terms of putting content out Monday through Thursday, always at 3:30, and doing a couple of live streams per week. I think that consistency gives people comfort and kind of lets them know what to expect from me. And I want to maintain that into the future. And then I think one of the other things that I've kind of tried to do is to have diverse content, right? I do lots of different things because I think I'm diverse, and I think a lot of people that watch me are diverse. We're not just one thing. We're not just collectors, right? We're like fathers. We are professionals. We are homeowners. We are all these things. We aren't just one dimensional. And so when I think about my content and I think about like what I want to offer up, it's diverse stuff because that's what interests me. And my hope is that someone else is also interested in those things. So just off the top of my head, those are kind of some of my thoughts.
Very cool.
As I think more about it, I'll probably get much more precise in my articulation of those things.
I will say one thing to this community and everybody in the community and everybody on the chat, from everybody's channel I've watched, from Comic Tom to White Whale to everybody else. I think every one of us are guilty of one thing only. We all bought new microphones and cameras because our first videos were all done by cell phone. It was so funny. If you look back at our old one, we're like, "Oh, it's got the box over here," and we're doing it. And now I'm like, my wife gets me a camera. I don't have, Comic Tom's got the mic boom coming down. I remember when he started, he didn't have that big boom mic in the studio, and it's great. And Bueller, you actually have a studio where you do comics and coffee. I know it's in your house, but it looks like people are like, where does he broadcast from? I'm like, oh, he's got a big studio and everything else. It's like 4 cameramen and everything else, It's so great. It's so great that I think that the technology is done there. One of the things, one of my goals about the community goals I had was Bueller brought it up. He said cons, and that's something I definitely want to do. Is maybe tell us if you're going to any cons, if you're ever going to a con. Like I'm going to C2E2, tickets bought, flights booked, hotels booked. I'm in. I'm going to C2E2 solo. With a guy from here in town. We're going C2E2. I know a bunch of other guys in the community are going there. Love to get together and do that kind of stuff, whether it's the cosplay or not, or just go on the hunt. Tony Sanders, I know he's going. There's a lot of good people there going to the con. And then there's Planet Comic-Con. And Regie brought up a good point. He had it he said there was a stigma that with comics that he associated with there. I was one of those guys that would like I was an athlete when I was in college, and I played semi-pro hockey for a while. We all read comics. So it was weird because I was around a lot of Canadians and they all read comics. But it was so funny is that they never talked about it until one person brought it up. Yeah. And then we all talked about it. Yep. It's like one guy said, we're sitting there, and I forget what movie was coming out. It was an early, like a early 90s movie. It was like a superhero. Might have been Spawn or something like that. And we were like, oh, wow, look at that. And he's like, oh, I know that book. That's that Todd McFarlane. Everybody's eyes just looked over. He goes, ASM 300 Todd McFarlane? And we started talking. And everybody started to get, oh, my God, we're all the same. That's what happens. And what happened, whether anybody wants to say it's the MCU or the DC or anything else, comics has exploded to a point where we're mainstream. It's like we won. Now we rule the planet. We rule everything. Every movie is going to be our movie. We won. Like that one. We won. That's it. We rule. We don't have to ever go see. Nobody's ever going to go say, I can't wait for the new, Out of Africa to come out, or the new Clint Eastwood movie. I love Clint Eastwood. Everybody's like, God, what happened after the snap? What's going to happen? Or, Doctor Strange 2 is filming and everybody's watching the blogs. And that's the only thing you hear about, even on the major channels, on the mainstream, like new news channels. It's all about they're all talking about comic book movies. It's great. And look at the actors we have doing it. Oscar winners in every MCU movie. Anthony Hopkins is Odin. When I first saw that as Thor, I'm like, Hannibal Lecter's playing Odin? This is great. But one of my things for the community for sure is definitely I want to get together at some cons with anybody. So if you're going to a con, I'm going to announce every time I'm going to a con. C2E2 is definitely going to happen for me, and Planet Comic Con in KC, and that's up till March. And that's about it. I definitely want to hit the West Coast because I hear you guys have a lot of fun at your cons. And I know that, Reggie, you're from Maryland. I heard the Baltimore con is crazy. But I know you live out west now. But
again, when I lived out east, man, I didn't do any of this stuff, you know. But I think DS Comics, who was in the room, actually hit up the Baltimore Comic Con. Supposedly, they have a decent selection of pre-code horror. But when I was living there, I never had a chance to attend any of that stuff. And as an adult, I've only been to like 2 cons, you know.
It's fun. We cosplay in my family as a group. We have a local con. We'll take the kids to. We're not going to take them to Planet Comic Con this year. We're going to have a parents' weekend where she's going to be Zatanna, and I am not going to have the kids around. So that'll be fun.
How did you connect those two? Because that was an interesting connection you just
you mean the cosplay? You said you've never been to a con, and I'm trying to get you to go to a con and cosplay.
No, Reggie will not be cosplay. That is not on my goals list.
Make Reggie cosplay. But one of my community goals for the whole community, for me, was personally with the community, was definitely see you guys in person, maybe do a couple of live shows together or do something like that. And when you started, when Bueller interviewed Donnie Cates, totally, I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to do with Bob Hall and a few other artists and stuff like that. But C2E2 is going to be a mess. But like the local ones, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where you could sit down and bring an artist on. I think it totally changed this community to me. That was one of the videos when he said, Bueller just sat down with Donnie Cates. This is a guy who just did coffee and comics, is now sitting down with the #1 writer for Marvel.
That was crazy, right?
That's crazy. I'm like, okay,
and
either
he followed it up with the Jim Shooter or before.
Yeah.
But both of those, you know, we'll give Bueller a chance to react here. But I think both of those were important moments for me to see, because it signaled to me that this could be more than just unboxing books.
Yep.
And I've been trying to move away from just unboxing books, because that's fun. And that's where I started with. I used to watch Sell My Comics every morning. And I used to watch Jim Mint. And I've never bought a statue, but those were the 2 channels I used to watch. But when I saw Bueller's stuff, it spoke to me, because it said, you know what, you can do more than just unboxing stuff and showing the money that you spent. So Bueller, what was the thought behind some of that? What motivated that interview?
Well, first thing, and I want to tell you, Reggie, and I appreciate the fact that you've kind of moved away from that. And I think you've probably seen a difference since you started doing that, because that's a lot of what a lot of videos are, type thing. And I think there is so much more that we can provide people out there. So I appreciate the fact that you're doing it. I noticed it and I was like, awesome. I like that Reggie's doing some different stuff and bringing his own takes on things. It's different than from showing you what I bought or got in the mail type thing. And I enjoy videos like that. Those are actually some of my favorite videos.
Yep.
But as far as the interviews go, and this is what I've told people this, when I get invited to a con, I treat it like a job. I'm not going there to shop or do things. I'm there to cover the con for the people that invited me to come and do it. And I take it really seriously. Like the Rose City Con, when I went and interviewed all those people, I did not buy a single thing. The whole con. I did not buy one thing. I looked a little bit here and there, but I was there and I stayed focused on what I wanted to accomplish. And it was, I had some advice, and I think I told Reggie this. I kind of grew up in a TV studio, and my father was a director and a producer, and my stepmom was an actress and also a director and producer. So I kind of grew up around, some celebrities would come in and out type thing. and I was comfortable with it. And I'm still nervous interviewing these guys and stuff like that. But I knew that if I didn't just try to do it, then I would second guess myself. So I just sat there and said, I'm just going to go for it. If I make a fool out of myself, I'm the only one recording it. So I could just delete the video. So, you know, that's the way I look at it. But it was just about confidence, I think. I've never had someone say no when I've asked for an interview. I've just sit there, and it's all about the way you present yourself and you know, and how you. This is the one thing I say, like, because I get invited to cover these cons, and I'll go up to Donnie Cates, okay, and I'll say, "Hi, Donnie. My name is Travis. I do a YouTube channel. I was invited here by said con to cover the event. If you have a minute, can you sit down and talk with us?" Every time, sure, that sounds good. What time do you want to come by? It's all about how you present yourself, and you just talk clear and be respectful and professional, and it goes a long way. And I had the time of my life sitting with those people and talking with them, especially the Jim Shooter. I know you like that one, Regie, but because I talked with him for like maybe two hours that one day and like an hour the day before. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that stuff. Definitely when C2E2, I'm planning on going to that. And I'm laser focused, man. I know everybody's going to be there and we're going to have a good time. But my goal is to sit there and talk with as many people as I can and cover the con and cover the panels and everything and just provide some good coverage. I think you have to set yourself on a high standard when it comes like that, you know, because a lot of my videos are kind of, you know, like the coffee are just kind of fun. I'm sitting around drinking, just talking about some stuff. But when you see me do the interview, I'm, you know, trying to get to a point, you know, and let that person shine. It's not about me. It's about them type thing. And I think that's very important. And it's nice to see other people like Pope Grimy. He just did an interview with Donnie Cates.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And it was great. And he put himself out there. And I know I talked to him a little bit and he said he was nervous and stuff. I go, dude, you put yourself out there and you should be proud of it.
Because you did really well. He
did well. And you could tell that that Donnie Cates liked Pope Grimy. They kind of connected. I mean, they connected more so than I think I did with Donnie Cates. I think Donnie Cates is like, who's this guy? Type thing, you know. But I think him and Donnie and Pope kind of connected, so it's kind of cool. But I like seeing people put themselves out there and give it a shot. You know,
that's fun.
You'll never know if you don't ask. So
yeah, what does Grimy would say? Shark tits and beer. Right up Donnie Cates' alley, right there. He said, you know, it's funny when a while back when I met Jason Aaron, I literally written interview with him. This was when he was back in doing Scalped, and he was his first major work. When I went back to him last year for Planet Comic-Con, and I wasn't YouTubing or anything else, but I was going to interview him and talk to him about, you know, his writing and everything else, for a little comic blog I was doing with a local comic shop here that they asked me to do. And I said, you know, for the last 12 years, I've watched you become everything. And then you wrote Thanos. And, you know, he talked to me when he was going to write Thanos and everything. He was nervous. And I said, you've been doing this great. Jason's is like a year older than I am. Or a couple of years older than I am. And he literally said, he goes, we're just people. And when we get to meet fans and then we get to meet people that love us, we don't know how we can take it. We try to tell them, you think you're infatuated by talking to me, or you're excited about talking to me. How do you think I feel that Marvel came to me and say, can you write Venom? Yeah. And you're like, okay. You know, just imagine that as a writer. You know, if I was an artist, well, I mean, if I could draw better and somebody said, can you take over Thor? I'd be like, at first I'd shit, and then I'd say, "Oh, sorry for swearing," but then I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, of course." And then I'd ask White Will to do it for me. So that would be that.
Yeah. So, hey, I have a question for the both of you. So we've all kind of sort of been in this thing for like a year or so, right? Plus 4 days for Comic Tom. Plus 4 days plus like 4,000 subs. So I'm curious, what is your impression of the community, the YouTube comic book community as it exists today versus where it was, let's say, at the beginning of 2018? What have you seen over the course of that year? Because I have some thoughts, but I'm curious what you guys think.
I think when Great Legend one time did something about jealousy on his channel and about subscribers, when I first started watching it, there was a lot of channels, and I don't remember who they were offhand. No descriptions. One guy had like a spinning Iron Man, and one guy had something else. And there was a lot bickering back and forth between people.
Yep.
That's gone. And it has become a close-knit community. Either they're there and we don't see them as much, or that the fact that Bueller and Tom and Regie and Tony Sanders and everybody else have all these subscribers and they put out these content, these shows. I think the amount of content that you guys put out, whether it's 7 minutes, Regie going through 2 things, or Bueller doing his Monday morning coffee routine, which I don't know when you do it, because it's got to be like middle of the night for you or the night before, because
he doesn't see
it's a secret.
It's ridiculous. But it's like when I get up, I'm like, here we go, you know. But I think that, Reggie, you brought up a good point. When I first started watching videos, I actually was YouTubing on searching CGC unboxing is how I found it.
Yep.
Because I was like, you know what? Let me see what people else are getting graded today, you know, because I'm like, I'm going to start grading my books again. I'd never left the comic community. I just stopped grading for 5 years. I got frustrated on a couple of grades. It was my own doing. I overvalued the book, or I undervalued, and I just misgraded. So then I watched these unboxing videos. Now the unboxing videos are a lot of fun. They're quick, they're fun, they're like what I'm most excited about. But the content on everything else, the community, what you brought up just now, what my opinion of the community is, it's camaraderie community.
Well said. Bueller, what's your thought?
Here's the thing, and this is kind of, I've met so many great people, and I've heard a lot of stories about other things that have gone down, and it's a little disheartening. I think, is that the word I'm trying to think of?
I think
but to think that that's kind of what the case. But when I see the flood of newer people coming on board, like JD or Jeffrey Comic Con or John's Comics with Kids or White Whale, and I see this positive message type thing, and I'm like, yep, I knew it was there. It just wasn't highlighted as much as probably it should have been.
Yep.
And I honestly feel that there's more people like that than there was before. And the one thing I noticed a few months back, probably in July, and I'd look at my comments and stuff on my videos, and I'd see the regular icons, next to the people. I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, like a Seawood 19, he'd comment, or Metarog would comment. And then all of a sudden I started seeing these other little dots that are just dots with a little symbol and a name below them. Okay. They don't have a profile picture.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's more, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. There's a lot of people out there that really enjoy the positive content, I believe, than enjoy the negative stuff that might have been happening before. And I just think that if you put it out there, people will find it, and it's happening. I think that this year has been like a really good year for the comic book community. I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Yep.
And I think 2019 is just going to be an extension of what we've kind of started this year, and it's going to roll through next year, because this is a hobby, and this is a kid's hobby that we all did when we were kids. There's no reason that this kid's hobby should be anything more than just joyful type thing.
But it doesn't belong to the kids now. It belongs to us.
Yeah, it belongs to us middle-aged guys that are, struggling,
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, here we go.
But no, I think you're definitely on to something, and I'm gonna maybe say some of this stuff a little bit differently. What I have definitely noticed is an elevation in the type of content that is being created and put out there. And it forces you, I think, to go out and buy a new camera or buy a new microphone or buy better lights, because you, and I think it was We Love Comics actually said this to me. I think I had like maybe 150, 200 subs at the time. And he basically said to me, you are capable of more than what you're doing right now. And what he meant by that was the quality of my content, the style of presentation, the poor lighting, the poor sound. He was like, you are capable of more than that. And what I've noticed to some points that have already been made is that people are coming into the community, I think, because of the positive energy. It's easier to enter into a positive room than to enter into a room that is full of negativity. Yeah. I think all of that positivity that people are putting out there breeds more people and allows more people to kind of come in and add to it. And I think people are enjoying that. And I think as people are enjoying it, they're willing to take some chances with doing some different content, maybe something that hasn't been done or tried before. So I see this elevation that's happening. You look at like what White Whale does.
Yes.
With that series, that artist series.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, I don't want to betray confidences, but he put himself out there with that video. And that video series is solid. And I don't think any of us could do what he does in that video.
Nope.
But had we not created an environment where he felt safe enough to do that, then we wouldn't benefit. Like I watched that video and I don't understand half of what he says, but I watch every single video that comes out and I get a little bit smarter each time.
When I reached out to Alec about the Buscema, and I asked him, I said, hey, I've watched you do these videos. I've drawn myself. I've never taken an art class. You've gone to art school, you know. And when he started talking, I'm like, that's the stuff that I've read. I mean, he's speaking about things that he would have no idea unless a professional would have done it, which is I always called him. I said, I leave that to the professional. Yeah. In John Buscema's book, which I know he doesn't have because I asked him about it, in his sketchbook, it talks about exactly what he's talking about.
Incredible, right?
And it's like that series is the one that one of my community things I wanted to shout out and thank him again and again and again for. That is one of the contents or one of the channels with different content than I've ever seen before. Yep. You know, and it's different. We all do unboxings and we all love it. Yep. And we all love the unboxings. And that's something we should all continue to do.
Agreed.
But the other thing is everybody's putting their own stamp in the community on what it is. And I've never seen the camaraderie like it is right now. And the funny thing is, like the Reggie, I blame you for your Instagram because I wasn't on Instagram until you were on Instagram. And the only way to contact Reggie was Instagram. And then Instagram discovered this whole new thing. Now I'm putting out Thor Thursday things, and I don't know how to do it. And I'm asking, like, you know, I work in an office and everything else like this, and I'm asking like one of the interns, I'm like, I need to send it to these 10 people. Can you send this out? You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hashtag this. It's great.
Yeah. But I mean,
you know,
go ahead, Travis.
You know, I think it's really important for people to try something new. And I've never told this to anybody, but I was like my 5th or 6th video in, and I was just doing the haul videos. I almost quit. I was like, I was bored right away. I was like, and this is really early. I was like, I'm not going to do this. Yep. And I don't want to do it. It's boring. You know, it wasn't for me. And I said, I'm going to make one last video and then that's it. And that's when I decided to make my pet peeves video. And that's a long time ago. And that's the first time I stepped in front of the camera, and that was going to be it. And I was done. But people watched it and they liked it. And some people kind of pushed me to, you know, do some more stuff. So I was like, okay, I want to do some more stuff, but I don't want to do that stuff again. So I was like, let me try to think of something different. Okay. So I'm like, okay, how about comics with people who hate comics? So I get this. So I get my nephew. That's my nephew, Jeff. Okay. That was in those videos. And
I love Pony Guy.
Yeah. That's my nephew. That's my older sister's son. And I called him up. I said, hey, I go, do you want to be in a video? He's like, sure. He goes, what do I need to do? I go, just sit there and look pissed for like 15 minutes. Can you do that? He's like, yeah, I can do that. I know you can. That's why I thought of you. So he comes over. And the truth is, he doesn't like comics. He doesn't have any. He doesn't want them. He doesn't read them. He won't go to the con with me. That's totally true. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he comes over and we film a video and we do the people who hate comics. He just sits there and And he's like, I don't know if I can sit here the whole time and straight face this. And I'm like, the TV's over in the corner and like Family Guy's on. And he's like, I can't do it when Family Guy's on. So I literally go over, I change his channel to Criminal Minds. I go, here, watch this. This should be depressing enough for the next 15 minutes.
Nice.
And so we did it, and it was great. And it was different. It was a haul video, but it was different. Okay. It was like, oh, whoa, that's kind of cool. Yep. And then I was like, Taylor, she's the one that did the sign language. Okay. She is my niece. That's Jeff's sister. And I go, Taylor, do you want to do a video? She's like, yeah. And I knew she did sign language. And I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead. You want to do this? And she's like, yeah, that'll be fun. And we did those, and that was different. Nobody done something like that before. Nope. And we did a couple other things, you know, the
sword.
The sword. Yeah, I know you like the sword one. But we did I did the Stranger Things video, and it was upside down and everything was right side up. And that was a lot of work, and it was in black and white, you know, and people like that. So it was like something new. I put my little twist on it and stuff. And then I finally did the coffee and comments, the first one. Okay. I'm on episode 30 now. So the first one I did, people liked it. You know, it was just me, and I wanted to do something where it was just me. I didn't have to depend on Jeff or Taylor getting off work and coming over. You know, I got to do something that's just me. Yep. And so that's where that came. I almost quit doing those. I was I was doing the green screen, and it was a hell of a lot of work, man, trying to get the green screen looking around. I mean, it was a bear. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, it's not looking good. I'm redoing it. And for all the work I did, and I think the last one I did, and it was actually Jeff was in it, and it was like a crossover between People Hate Comics and Coffee and Comments. And we did the green screen, and it just didn't look good. Okay. And like it got like 180 views. And I'm like, for all the effort that went into this video and the hours and hours of doing this, I can't do it. You know, I got to do something else, because a little 50-cent haul video that took me 10 minutes got 3 times the amount of views.
It's hysterical.
Yeah. So then I was like, I was going to quit it. I was like, okay, coffee's done. And then I'm sitting there, and this is funny. My mom is moving. She's like, hey, you want this red couch? And I'm like, okay. So I go pick up the red couch, and I stick it in my living room, and I'm sitting there staring at it. I go, you know what? That's going to be the new set for the coffee video. I'm going to dump the green screen. That's out the door. And I'm just going to use like transparent graphics. And I start doing that, and boom, people loved it. You know, and now it gets 1,000 to 1,500 views every week. So, I mean, it worked out. It's funny how things like that work out, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to share that.
I think the thing about not being about putting yourself out there, I think is like key. You know, like you have these ideas, just run with them. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You know?
We did a comic book mukbang video where we just ate a bunch of food for like 30 minutes. Who's done that?
I did not watch that one, brother.
You made a good choice. It was the worst.
But it's like,
we ain't doing this again.
all these crazy ideas pop into your head. For me, they typically hit me when I'm like driving down the street or in the shower. That's when I have my ideas, and I write them on my whiteboard, and I stare at them for a little while, and then all of a sudden they become something, and I turn the camera on and just shoot some video. You know, I think we may have lost John. I think we may have lost him on his own channel. How are we still live? I don't get. It's a takeover.
Oh my God.
Taking over his channel.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can. Hopefully, he gets back on here. But I mean, you know, the one thing I want to do, and this is the one thing I noticed, a lot of my videos that I do right now, they have like a 1 week lifespan type thing, like a new books or the top 10 or whatnot. Yeah. They're only good for like a week, and then, you know, there's really no reason to watch them. One thing I want to try to do is get into a video that has more of a lifespan to it that will kind of last a little bit longer. And I've actually had ideas for other shows, and I've been like, Well, this is like a one-time hit type thing. It's like people are gonna watch it the first day, and there's no reason to watch it again. So I was like, I actually scrapped it. I was like, I ain't gonna do it type thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is to that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's kind of the key to get one of those videos that kind of takes off and has a life of its own.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what like I said, I don't know the answer, but something I've always thought about.
But I think having that as a goal will at least point you in the direction of continuing to brainstorm for that solve, you know? Because I think you're probably onto something like with that, with the types of videos that you do, and this is not a criticism. I think that you're probably right about the lifespan of the video. Yep. And the question becomes, what would a video with a longer shelf life actually look like? And that is definitely a challenge. It's something to think about because, you know, to the point that we've all kind of made here, this YouTube game is a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of work to be committed to doing a certain number of videos every single to having it being entertaining or educational. The editing process can take time, and it's just it's work, and it's important to have fun with all of that stuff, you know, because it is such a can be such a tedious process. I know that Matt, for example, Thanos doesn't like doing pre-recorded videos anymore because it requires editing. You know,
I'll get it to work.
So he's like,
I'll get it to work.
I'm only doing live now. That's his thing. JD, are you back? We've been stalling, brother.
Live. We're live. I'll get it to work.
Yeah, I think we're live. Have we stayed live the whole time, Reggie, or were we offline?
It says we've been live.
Okay.
I'm watching the thing.
I'm gonna mute my mic.
I think that JD probably wants to wrap this up soon, though, because I think that some other YouTubers are starting their live soon, so we want to definitely be respectful. JD, are you back, brother?
I think I am back. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you.
All right. I was just going to do something really quick. We got 3 minutes left. I was just going to wrap it up with simple. What are your personal collecting goals really quickly? Go through the books you want to get for this year. If you're interested, this is the fun stuff part of it. Like I said, what are you looking for this year? I'll go first because who knows if if everything's going to cut out again. My daughter is downloading Land Before Time right now, or my wife is downloading the Land Before Time. So my major goal is House of Secrets 92 or Strange Tales 110. I want one of those, one major grail. My 2 to 3 minor keys, Swamp Thing 1, Strange Tales 126, Journey 84 and 87. Those are there. One piece of original art. I want another piece of original art. I do that one per year. And one thing I do every year is try to find a pedigree around my birthday. I don't know if you ever saw my birthday video, but I kind of look for pedigrees around that time. I do like a certain pedigree, but pedigrees during my time is a big thing. I definitely want to do a pedigree video one day. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
Bueller?
Yeah. As far as collecting goal, I don't have too much of a collecting goal. It's been a good year, and I'm looking to actually give back to the community a lot of my collection with the Bueller boxes type thing. The one book I've always wanted to have in my collection is like it's here's what it is. I can just look at the back of Reggie's wall there and just kind of like connect the dots about the ones I want type thing. But you know, I've always wanted a Hulk 181. Obviously, I got the poster right behind me. It's probably way out of my price range by any means, but I always have faith I'll find it in a dollar bin or something like that. But realistically, a book I'll probably pick up this year that I want is X-Men 94. It's one I had in my collection before, and also a giant size X-Men #1. And before Reggie whips them out and shows me these books, we'll just forget that. But and then another thing, like another goal, and this is a personal goal for my channel. I want to interview Todd McFarlane. That's I'm setting that as my bar for 2019. I've met him. I know him. I think if I get a chance to say hi to him, I can convince him with our history to sit down and talk with me. So that's a goal.
Very cool.
Very nice. So I'm actually, I may do a video on this, on how I'm thinking about my strategy for 2019. There are a couple of books that I've identified just off the top of my head that I want to try to get in 2019, and they're big books. So they include AF-15, possibly Fantastic Four #1, And in a lower book, but it's still an important book for me, is X-Men 94.
Nice. Two X-Men 94s. Very cool.
That's just a couple of the ones that I just really did.
Now I'm going to say this, and I'll wrap it up really quickly like this. Anybody who's been collecting, like I've been 30 plus years without a break. I've owned Fantastic Four 1. I've owned X-Men 994s. I've owned them. I've swapped them out for other books here and there. I know everybody's like, "Whoa, you crazy? Get rid of it." A Fantastic Four 1. I'm like, it wasn't my favorite book. Yep. Do what you want to do for your own collection is the most important thing. And you guys both hit on two books I would have wrote down, but Bueller was looking for. It'd be Hulk 181. I know that because that's been on video. Reggie, I'm actually shocked you didn't pull out a DC. No, I'm not. I'm not just kidding. No, I was just gonna say the one book, Reggie, I don't see on your wall is an X-Men 94 and AF 15. And good luck to you in your search this year. I mean, it's one of those things when you do. I do have an advantage that I have books behind me that I've had for 30 plus years. And I mean, it wasn't like I was a kid buying these things, but I was spending money that I didn't need. Well, I did need, I do need, but I did it at a time when I was just doing what I wanted to do. And now when you have a family and everything else, that goal of a House of Secrets 992, I didn't say a grade of a 9.8. I mean, I'm looking for just a nice clean cover. And then I'm looking more for the two kids upstairs and the wife upstairs. But I want to thank you guys very, 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 very much for doing this. I think this was a eye-opening experience for me of how much you two guys and I, we are so much alike, and we have a lot of goals for everybody. Thank everybody in the chat. I apologize I didn't say it, everything else, but I'm going to head over to John's Comics with Kids and watch the next video live stream of the night, which is his new comic book day. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you don't have these two guys subbed, you're probably not watching this channel. But that's okay. There's 5,000 people that sub these two guys. There are about 185 people that sub me, and I'm okay with that. I really am. And Great Legend, I promise. I'm on the hunt tomorrow night. We'll be a little late because I'm going to see the Aquaman movie. My wife, we have a daycare. The daycare is giving us a present for Christmas, which is taking both our kids from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, brother. We definitely appreciate it.
I'm out.
See you guys.
And of course it cuts out. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're still live.
All right. But
yeah, well, we're still live.
You'll get the hang.
I need to fix this. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we're still live. We're not going to help you either. We're just going to sit here and enjoy this moment.
It's going to be one of those where I can't do it at all. I can't close it down. It's going to be live.
Just hang up.
Come on, Reggie.
I love that guy. Did he just hang up on us? I think he hung up. Travis, I'll talk to you later, bro.
All right, later. Bye, everybody. I'm just gonna later, everybody.